Hey everyone, welcome back to Titans Talk, the series dedicated to DC Universe's Titans. Today we're talking about season number 2, episode number 11. We're on 11? We're on 11. Okay, cool. Episode number 11 titled E11. Essentially, this episode picks up where the last episode left off, where we have Dick still in prison and the rest of the Titans are all scattered about, though Connor and Hank are both MIA in this episode. So let's go ahead and get into things that happen in this episode that are really not that great and things that are good, which are very far and few between. First thing we're going to talk about is Rose and Jason. They are off sort of back in the area of Gotham City, fighting crime at night, stopping drug rings, but also breaking into houses and just sort of sleeping the day away and having a terrible back and forth romance that makes no sense. And I even read online, and I kind of have to agree with this, that it very much parallels like the Phantom Menace, or not Phantom Menace, but rather Revenge of the Sith type of romance, Attack of the Clones with Anakin Skywalker and Padme, where it's just talking about sand and no one cares. And yeah, I can kind of see where they're going with that. Essentially, it's just a boring part of the episode that really no one cares about, but at the end of it, Rose calls up Slade Wilson and tells him that she's actually done with doing whatever she's doing with him, which very much alludes to the fact that a Judas contract idea was planted in there somewhere. It just kind of got pushed to the back, and by back I mean like way back, where no one even kind of considered it at any point because she was kind of a nothing character for several episodes and very much forgotten. And then there's the girls who are all scattered about. So Rachel, Corey, Don and Donna are all sort of scattered about, but they keep getting signals to go over to some diner in Elko, which I don't know really what the purpose of that was. I think it was Rachel, but at the same time, Bruce shows up, so it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense as to who is actually communicating with these people, because why wouldn't Bruce just call them? I mean, he's Batman, for crying out loud. He could have just Batmaned his way a note to them, rather than making up this fake donut commercial for Corey to watch. It makes no sense whatsoever. But essentially they all get to a diner where Bruce essentially convinces them to get the Titans back together, although half of them really don't agree. But Rachel and Corey do decide to go pick up Dick out of prison and break him out, which I'll come back to in just a second. And then there's also Gar, who's still in the Cadmus facility, but he's having some type of experimental surgeries done on him, brain surgeries that are messing very much with his mind and his sort of center of how he sees things / reacts to things in order to bring out his animal, I don't want to call it spirit, but his just animal nature to get him to transform. And essentially Cadmus is turning him into a weapon where they can use some sort of trigger, and it seems like an audio trigger of a specific song or something like that, in order for him to transform and become the tiger or whatever animal, hopefully down the line, that they want him to turn into, in order to use him as a weapon, possibly against the Titans, or really someone else. I don't really know. Just a weapon in general is what they're trying to create. Now back to Dick. So Dick is actually in prison, as I mentioned before, still in prison. He's going through some kind of hallucination because he has like a fever from a sickness, which I'm not really sure where he got. He just randomly got this sickness. He got hit in the face in the last episode, and now he's randomly sick. I think it's based on the rat that they used for his food, but that's really not confirmed because he's essentially just hallucinating Bruce, that he mentions that, but I guess that's what they're alluding to, is he got sick from eating a rat. But essentially just hallucinating Bruce, who's having this back and forth with him. There is kind of a decent fight between them that kind of calls more onto the Batman and Robin dynamic, which that was the most interesting part to me, because it wasn't like the last time that he was hallucinating Bruce in the episode Bruce Wayne, where he was just sort of in the background and just kind of being a snarky guy, which is very much not Bruce Wayne. So that clearly had to be Dick's personality coming through. So in this episode, it gets a little bit more physical and a little bit more, yeah, he could be having more interaction or different interaction than just Bruce Wayne being like a snarky guy, which he's totally not. So there was kind of some interesting dynamics there, but it really wasn't enough to carry the episode. It was just kind of a weird thing that played off of a previous episode, and it just didn't make sense in the long run. But going through this motion that he's going through, this sickness, he actually determines that Jericho, and this is a big win for me, because if you saw last week, or was it the week before, I'm not sure, he actually finds out or remembers of something that Slade did during an interaction, which causes him to recognize that Jericho is still alive and somehow within Slade. Big win for me because I got that right. So this got me thinking as well, because I don't think I mentioned this before in the previous episode when I came up with this random theory, but we never actually saw Jericho die. We just saw Slade stab him and then Dick passed out. So we just assumed that Jericho died, but how he sort of is transferred into Slade, if he's sort of dormant in him, if he's taking over Slade, we're not 100% sure yet. I think he's more dormant in him based on the hand gestures that Dick had noticed or subconsciously noticed and eventually remembered in this episode. I don't know if it's a cry for help necessarily, because based on what we know about Jericho's powers, he can take over someone without them even knowing about it. So maybe he's laying dormant in his dad without him knowing about it. Again, have no idea where it's going, but that was something that I actually got right, that I don't know what they're going to do with it or kind of explain it. But hopefully it will make sense in a kind of fun way. But how they're going to get him out, if they try and get him out, is he actually going to really be gone? There's a lot of different things up in the air. So hopefully they'll explain it. But it just wasn't that great of an episode overall, that it just was just bleh. There wasn't a whole lot of interesting stuff. I mean, they had some interesting concept. There was a personal win for me, but there was not much that I got out of the episode. Now what we're going to go from here, there was a lot of Nightwing references in this. Him sort of overcoming his being Robin and stop sulking in prison. All sorts of stuff that he was talking about, going through the motions with Bruce. So it's hardcore setting up this Nightwing thing, and they need to take that step. But next week, I think the episode is called like Faux Hawk or something like that. So they're probably going to completely shift again away from this storyline that they could potentially go down, that would be interesting for the fans and actually we want to watch, and go against this side story, so that in the finale episode, Nightwing, that's when he has the big reveal and we have the big fight and blah, blah, blah. So that's kind of what I'm predicting is going to happen. I hope it doesn't, but it's probably most likely going to happen. I just really hope that the fact that they got renewed for season 3 just means that somebody somewhere is seeing a lot of potential within this show. I see the potential. It's just the execution isn't perfect. So hopefully they're going to continue into season 3. Nightwing will be established and we'll actually get some good storylines and good stuff going without a lot of the filler and really unnecessary stuff that's going on in a lot of Titans. So overall, those are my thoughts on the episode number 11 titled E11. If you guys have seen the episode, make sure you let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section down below. Also be sure to check out my good buddy, Hey Archer. He does a lot of cool Titans videos and does a lot better explanation in a quarter of the time that this video probably was. I'll be sure to link his channel somewhere at the end or on the bottom in the description. But make sure you let me know your thoughts and opinions down below, as well as go check him out. Make sure you're subscribed, like the video, algorithm, all that good stuff. Intro, outro, whatever. Blah, blah, blah that people say. But that's all I have for now. Thank you guys so much for watching Titans Talk, and I hope to see you in the next one.